modules for electronic ignitions. This one's a Honeywell, has a built-in indicator light, troubleshooting light, LED that gives you flash codes, and then each of our technicians has got a master sheet that tells them what those trouble codes mean. And so I'm going to show you some lights when the system's running, and we'll count the lights and we'll look up the trouble code on this one right here. It's working good, there's no problems, but it does have a trouble code on it. Typically what you're going to be looking for is a steady heartbeat, and you'll see the lights flash, and the lights flashing should just be a steady heartbeat. Just go ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And I know y'all are laughing, but that's the way it's supposed to look. Okay, let's see. Turn that on. Steady heartbeat while it tries to ignite the pilot. Right now it's the pilot is lit, and then you see this long steady light. That means that there's a trouble code to follow, and then it'll come out with 1, 2. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, but when you have a long steady one followed by blinking, the blinking are what you're counting. So we're counting 2 blinks. So we go to our list and we look at our list, and number 2 indicates that down here on the bottom, it indicates it has a weak flame signal. System will operate reliably, although flame signal is less than desired. If it had blinked just 1, the number 1 is it's a marginal flame signal. System may not operate reliably over time. A service call is recommended. So we're getting a number 2, which tells us that the signal that it's getting back from the pilot, in other words, the pilot is lighting, and it knows that there's a pilot down there. It's sensing that there's a pilot, but it's saying, hey, the signal's kind of weak. It's going to be reliable, but I sure would like to have a better signal. So what I did was I went ahead and I removed the pilot assembly, and the pilot assembly is held in place by the 2 bolts that are right in the center of the film. You take those 2 bolts out, and then you can drop that, and that connection where that piece of metal meets the burner ring, that connection has to be nice and clean. So I went ahead and I lowered it down, took a wire brush, I cleaned the mating surface between the burner ring and the pilot assembly with the wire brush nice and clean, and that seemed to help, but it hasn't totally solved the problem. So the other thing that we might need to do is replace this ground wire, because there's probably some corrosion between that ground wire and that ground connection and where it hooks back up at the control module. That would be the next thing to do. So typically you're not going to find that. For the most part, these are pretty reliable, and when you get the lights, the indicator lights right there, they'll go ahead and they'll just flash in a real nice steady heartbeat fashion, then you know everything's working correctly. But this is a good example. We don't run across this very often. I want to take advantage of showing a video of what you're looking for on the trouble codes. If you come out to a situation where electronic ignition burner and the customer complains that the burner's not working or hasn't been working correctly, that's the first thing you're going to go look for is the trouble code, and that should speed up your diagnostic on something like that. If you have any questions, go ahead and contact your supervisor. Contact A&E at www.aefresno.com.